Today I wanted to talk about collaboration and why you shouldn't do it, but you need it. Let's get into it. Now, the reason I believe that collaboration is such an important tool is because sometimes when you're too close to a project, you aren't the best judge of character on what needs to be done to it. I know that that's true for me, and I know that's true for a lot of different creatives. Now, one thing that you can do to mitigate this is to just share your work with other people along the way. I like to share my work right from the beginning. As soon as I get the footage, I'll take some screens, I might do a quick color grade and just shoot them off to people and just be like, hey, this is what I shot. It helps me kind of dive into the footage and dive into that project a little deeper right from the start of the project. Second thing I do is when I'm doing pre-production for a project, I'm usually thinking about who I want to involve before I've even started. Now, a little project that is behind me was a little documentary I did about a guy here in Melbourne who makes cinnamon scrolls, and wow, you know, one of the most passionate people I've ever met. It kind of inspired me to include other people who I know who are just as passionate about what they do. I brought on a good friend of mine, Philip Milovac, who's an incredible cinematographer, and he just kind of took what was sitting in my head and he turned it into something beautiful. You can go watch that film in the link below, or I'll link it somewhere here. One thing that this film really taught me, mainly because I approached this as a personal project, was collaboration is necessary. It's not something you can do sometimes. It's not something that I want to do. It's something I actually need to get things done. I'll give you a little example. Sebby Scrolls, this project behind me that I'm kind of just finishing up on. The video actually went live with the client, went live. Don't get me wrong, I was immensely proud of it. And to me, it was done. I was incredibly happy with it. So was the client. It was all good. And then a good friend of mine who I used to work in an office with, he does audio and sound engineering. And as someone who focuses predominantly on visual aspects of my projects, sometimes audio and sound can fall to the wayside. I don't think it's my fault. I don't think that's a fault of any part of this project, but I'm visual. Sound is often the last thing that I think about, but I do understand that sound is immensely important to making a final project feel and sound and look the best that it can be. So I posted it, and my friend Ryan, he sent me a message and he said, dude, great fucking work on this video, but the audio is rough. And I was like, oh. And when you know something deep down inside and you're like, I know. You know, sometimes collaboration doesn't need to be you reaching out. It could be feedback, it could be, yeah, maybe could have done this a little bit better. Straight away, I jumped on it and I was like, dude, how much for me to fix this? I'll send over whatever you need to get this schmick. And like I said, the project had already gone out. People have already seen it. The client had already seen it. But we learn from our mistakes. And I think that's the thing that's super important. As any creative knows, a project is never done until that deep, dark bit inside of you really feels that it's done. Because most of us put our work out and go, fuck, I could have done that a lot better. Back to collaboration. So I sent off, he gracefully gave me a bit of a discounted price on getting that audio work done. And I just sat down and I synced it up with the original edit, and my God, it is so much better. Like, so much better. Not to say that the other version wasn't already great, but it was good visually, you know? I got the story down, I got the visual language down, I got the pacing down, the timing down. And all of the elements for sound were there. They just needed to be pushed that extra little bit. And that's what Ryan did. It comes down to the fact that collaboration is a necessity for creatives. You can try and do everything yourself, and you can even get really good at doing everything yourself. There are people in this industry who have dedicated most of their career, or almost all of their career, to a single aspect of this job. And if they can do a better job than you, and you know they can do a better job than you, and you can afford it, or they're offering to do it, take it. Because not only will you end up with a better product, but you end up with a connection and an understanding of what is required to do something perfectly, to do something great. So that's it. That's all I wanted to talk about today. I just wanted to talk about how collaboration with anyone in any part of the production process can change the way that you work. It can change the end product of a project that you're working on immensely. So I'm gonna get back to doing everything myself because I can't afford it, but when I can, I will use the people I have who are way more fucking talented than me. So cheers, and I'll see you around. I did a cheers and it didn't work. Peace out.